Hello and welcome back to Substream News. Now I want to start off this video by giving a nice big round of applause, a bravo to Siobhan and Adam Raff. Now you probably haven't heard these names before, but these two have just concluded a 15-year legal battle against Google and have cost the tech giant £2.4 million, or around $3 billion. Let me tell you how they did it. But if you have just a few seconds and you like our content, you're a returning viewer who isn't yet subscribed, drop us a sub. That's all you need to do. Here's how they did it. So rewind to 2006, Adam and Siobhan were launching their website, Foundem. It was a price comparison website back when they weren't a thing yet, so they were real innovators. Now, unfortunately, when they launched, Google's algorithm decided to penalize them. But they thought, actually, something's a bit fishy here, and actually it was Google who penalized them because Google themselves had plans and ambitions to launch a price comparison and discovery tool. Yes, this story has a few twists and turns. Well, it turned out that they connected with others and found out that they weren't the only price comparison site to receive such a penalty or penalization by Google, and so they decided to fight, and fight they did. And back in 2017, when this £2.4 billion fine was dished out to Google, Google naturally appealed the decision and have spent 7 years fighting it, and last week they lost. So Siobhan and Adam's whole campaign was successful, and it goes to show if you stand up for yourself and your IP and your ideas, you can win. The courts hopefully should protect you. We don't know how much of that huge fine will go to them, but I imagine they're probably never going to have to work again, which may have been the objective of launching such a business as Foundem in the first place, to retire themselves. And so, you know, anti-competitive bullying should never stand, and especially when it's, you know, the world's #1 search engine doing it. Now, I can only say that I hope Google doesn't penalize this video, because of course they own YouTube, for me highlighting this story. I love YouTube. Google, love you too. Please don't bully me. Let's move on to the next story before they hear me. By the way, just before I do move on, if you want to know the full story about Siobhan and Adam Raff, the link is in the video description. I always share sources. While you're down there, click subscribe. It only takes a microsecond. Now let's move on. Now, that wasn't the only victory I read about in the news this week. There was another one from Singapore's Changi Airport. It is the world's best airport. That's not my opinion. It has won loads of awards and everyone who goes there says it's pretty amazing. Well, their victory that they've reported is that it's now passport free. Yes, thanks to biometric technology, you can go to the airport, check in, board your flight, go through security, the whole lot, without having to get your passport out, which really is quite incredible. Now, yes, it makes travel more convenient. That's one way to see this story. But myself being, let's say, a technologist or a technology enthusiast, also someone a bit scared of the capabilities of technology, it says, who gave them the right to be biometrically surveilled? Or who gave the airport the right to biometrically surveil anyone who goes there? Do you give up your rights the moment you enter the airport and permit them to biometrically surveil you? I think that's the bigger story here. Involuntary biometric tracking is something that scares me, and we've covered stories in the past about train stations and other kind of businesses and transport hubs that are always looking and tracking and facially scanning everyone who's there. I didn't give them permission to do that. I didn't opt in, and I haven't been given the opportunity to opt out either. So I just think there's something that you should consider is, do I give away willingly my biometric data in exchange for access to services, or should I stand up for my own data rights and privacy? I feel like this will grow into a bigger issue over time. Right now it's not a major issue. I just think it will be. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Am I on to something here? Let's move on. Introducing Meta, the world's favorite social media technology platform. No, come on. We all know who Meta is. They own Facebook and various other companies like Instagram and WhatsApp. It's a massive company. We all know Meta by now. That word has become part of normal vocabulary. Now, Meta were in the news this week for another story about facial recognition software, but it's nothing to do with airports. Actually, this one's a much better thing. They want to stop celebrity scam bait ads. Basically, scammers are using all of the advances in AI technology to make celebrity videos of them saying and doing things that it's not actually them. So, if you receive a video of Elon Musk telling you to send him $100, it's very unlikely it's not him. As Meta embarks on this quite honorable mission, I'd say, to take down these scammers and all the nefarious things they're doing with AI technology, they are running a beta test group of their anti-celebrity scam bait technology, which involves facial recognition scanning celebrities to kind of make sure information and visual data is legitimate. And apparently, according to them, the quote says it's shown promising results, which is good. And they've involved 50,000 celebrities and public figures in this trial, which I think's huge amount, a huge sample. Now, this is what Meta have said, is that the system compares images in an ad, the scam ad, against the celebrity's Facebook and Instagram profile to spot scams. The quote is, "If we confirm a match and determine the ad is a scam, we'll block it." That was on October 21st, so just last week. Guys, what do you think about this? Do you think it's obvious, or do you think it's not obvious? And if it's not yet obvious, do you think it's getting more obvious? Am I confusing you? Just be aware when you see celebrities saying things that you don't really think they would say, it could be a scam. Check your sources, check where it came from. And no, Elon Musk will not ask you for $100. He has at least $200 already. Now, substreamers, all of this news and news in other videos may have you thinking that you don't really like the way the world is going. Something's getting worse, let's say. And also, you have to see the news and all of the ecological disasters, landslides, floods, earthquakes, all the deaths from acts of God, let's say. It's incredible, and it may have a lot of people kind of thinking they just want to exit society and quit and head to the woods for a life of reclusion, peace and quiet, but to escape modern society's problems and many of the problems of the natural world. Now, it's not that simple, of course, because you could escape to the woods and be in a wildfire. So what I'm really getting at here is that any escape from society into reclusion will require survivalist skills, survivalist knowledge, and that doesn't come naturally. You need to really ask the experts, those who've done it and those who have data behind them. 2024 has seen some of the worst hurricanes and floods for decades, and that has a lot of people scared. But born out of those disasters, it's shown human resilience. And I've compiled some information from survivalists and experts online about the kind of foods and items that you might want to stock in case of a disaster. So before you start, here are the considerations that you will need, whether either you exit society to go to the woods or are in a natural disaster. You need to consider the number of people and pets in your household who need food and water, their dietary restrictions, preferences, and whether certain foods require cooking or water. You need to consider the shelf life of any food you have or buy, and ensure you rotate your supplies every few months for freshness if you can. You need to think about your ability to cook without electricity, like you need to get a camping stove, essentially, or a gas barbecue. You should also make sure you have the necessary utensils and storage options, such as cool, dry areas for keeping food and water. Disposable plates and cutlery don't require water for washing. Now, because you may not have electricity in a disaster or in the woods, plan your meals in single portions, as you may not be able to refrigerate extras. That's a good one to think about. You don't want to waste food or overeat unnecessarily when your resources are short. Finally, here are some things you want to have. lighters, matches, candles, flashlights, batteries, knives, Ziploc bags, bleach, and other essentials that you can keep in sealed plastic bags. Now I'm going to tell you some foods that survivalists recommend you buy. Canned soups, stews, chili, instant meals, instant mashed potatoes, rice and pasta, oatmeal, cereals, crackers, chips, dried beans, lentils, chickpeas, canned fruits and vegetables, dried fruits, canned tomatoes and tomato sauce, powdered milk, fruit juice, coffee, tea, hot chocolate, salt, pepper, spices, hot sauce, honey and jam, trail mix and granola bars, chocolate and candies. The last one's there for sugar, which will be very useful for you. That is how you could survive the next disaster. Let's move on to the next story. And now, to finish on a lighter note, this one is for the gamers. It turns out that November 2024 is a big month for gamers. There are some massive titles dropping, and I'm pretty excited to tell you what they are. Red Dead Redemption, which actually launched 14 years ago, somehow, I feel like I was playing it last year, but 14 years ago, has just been released on PC, which is crazy. It was never released on PC. It was Xbox and PlayStation. So if you're a PC player and you're not too busy getting attacked by mosquitoes like I am, you might want to go and get Red Dead on PC. Mario and Luigi is dropping on Nintendo Switch. That's a new game. Looks pretty fun. Go check that out. Slitterhead, which is a horror game from the guy who made Silent Hill. It's based in Kowloon City in Hong Kong, which is a whole story for another day. Go and Google Kowloon City. You'll go into a rabbit hole that's super interesting. But basing a horror game in Kowloon, I don't think that's ever been done before. And, you know, this guy's a famous horror game creator. I think that's going to be a big title this year. I think it's going to be a real cult classic, very popular. If you like puzzles, this game is called Rise of the Golden Idol, and it's like 20 kind of crime mysteries. You're like a detective solving puzzles, really difficult puzzles. And I've heard that this game's super addictive, really engrossing. Finally, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. It's a Russian first-person apocalypse survival game, which sounds awesome, by the way. I think that would be really fun, mixing Chernobyl with, like, yeah, apocalypse survival. You can take some of the advice from that last story into that game with you if you want to play. There are actually loads more games being talked about regularly for November, and if you want to find out what they are because you're looking for something fun to play, go down to the video description, find the link to that story, and go get yourself a game. That's all for this week. I'm Joseph, your presenter. Thank you for coming back. Big thank you if you made it to the end of the video, and an even bigger thank you if you could take a second to subscribe to this channel. We're growing and we can't do it without you. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.